Back here on What's Burning, and make sure you go out to Ozarks Cat and Canine to see about adopting one of those little cats. Megan did a nice job. And as we welcome you back to friends of ours, two friends of the program, we got Professor Jim Pasley and SRG Financial Advisors Bill LaCasse. And guys, normally we bring you on to talk about something in particular, but we're going to go another gear today, because in a day and age filled with all kinds of media and misinformation and agendas, you guys are putting together and about to launch something that I'm really excited about. It's the TNT Then, Now, and Tomorrow podcast. And so, Bill, we'll start with you.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about TNT and how we got to this point.
Well, Jim and I have been doing odd and end things together off and on, and we've always said, every time we got finished, we always thought, we need to do something more on a regular basis. And we just kept talking about things that are happening in the big wide world. When you start looking at all of the different things that have happened in the last few years, and everybody seems astounded by what's happened. But the amazing thing is that if you will look backwards, you can kind of made up times that have happened in the past with things that are happening here in the future. And we very much believe in the idea that if you don't understand history, you're probably destined to repeat it. Yeah. And that it gets proven over and over and over again that is the case. So we thought, how can we get some of this information out in a fun, kind of a educational but enjoyable, entertaining way to where people accidentally learn something, by the enjoyment of watching. And we talked about this a little bit, and I bring to the table the idea of the finances and financial things. I love trivia questions. I've always said I know everything in the world that nobody really needs to know. So we're going to take some of that, some of the stuff there that goes around the financial part of things, and kind of do a little follow the money through history kind of thing.
That's where Professor Jim Pasley comes in, because you got the money side, and so Professor Jim Pasley, no one loves history more than you, and so as he says, history does repeat itself. We've heard that throughout our lives, but we're seeing that today, and talk about how that's going to fit into your guys' new podcast.
Exactly. Like Bill said, we've done some things together, and one of the central themes we saw is that almost every show that I ever did tied back to the money somehow.
Right.
And we said, man, that's why we need to put our brains together on this. And I found that, after teaching college courses for almost 30 years, I learned from the students, not the other way around. And the listeners, that's what we're hoping from you as well, is that, it wasn't so much learning names and dates as much as it was learning the stories. And I think that's what we really want to do, is we want to tell you the stories. And, we've talked about things together about like the industrial age and progressivism, the administrative state, economics, you name it. And in every case, we have so much in common that we can talk about. We want to bring that to our listeners. And, some things in the past worked, some of them dismal failures.
Yeah.
But that's the big thing, is we think it'll be a great way to share with you all some of the stories. He's got tons of stories. I have tons of stories. And we're really looking forward to launching this.
And so I want to ask is, when you guys are going to be, I know you guys have been putting a lot of work into this. That's one thing I love, is in a day and age where people like to do podcasts, you guys have not just started this. This has had a lot of intentionality. Mm-hmm. You guys have invested a lot of your time and resources. So when can we start looking forward to seeing episodes of TNT?
Our goal is to be up and running by the first of the year. We have a couple of episodes in the can already, but we want to get kind of a backlog. One of the things that I bring along with the stories and the stuff we discuss is compliance. Yeah. I have to be compliant in everything that I say. So anytime that we do something, this is not a requirement for Jim, but it is for me. Anytime him and I have a conversation, just like this little talk we're having here, it has to go in front of my compliance board with my broker-dealer and make sure that it's okay. So that's one of the things that is keeping us from saying, yeah, let's turn on the switch today and make this happen. But we're going to expand this just a little bit as well. So our idea is that, we're going to do a weekly podcast, but we're eventually going to be doing this live someplace where we're going to have actual people be able to come and participate while we're having these conversations. And I got to tell you, I'm as excited about that as I am about doing the show.
I am as well. And as a teaser, some of the things we'll be talking about are like, who was the first millionaire in the United States?
Right.
And, what did he do to make his money? And we'll be talking about people like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and so on and so forth. And we'll talk about, like I say, the progressive era. We'll talk about the times during the Great Depression and the inflation that took place then and how it pertains to today. So, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And those live audiences, I'm looking forward to that, because that's how I learn, is the questions from the audience are what really makes it fun.
And you guys are great at incorporating that kind of thing into the programming. I've seen some of the stuff you guys are working on. And like I said, today you turn on the TV, you turn on the computer. I mean, there's so much out there. Everyone seems to be an expert. But this is really wholesome, good content. And you guys aren't just pulling stuff out of your hat. I mean, Professor Pasley, you have been a college professor for, I don't want to date you, but I mean, you've been doing this a long time, and you've been in the financial world, Bill, for a long time, and you've seen all of the changes historically, and so you're going to bring this full circle and make it available, not just to entertain, but to help people out there, because man, today you're trying to figure out how to budget your money and finances and how you can know what's really true. And for instance, the local election that just went out there, a lot of maybe misinformation, and you guys will be correlating some of that into your show as well.
You bet. You bet.
And I suspect you'll probably see some familiar faces that we'll have on every once in a while that we'll talk about to kind of help highlight some of the things that we'll talk about and different things. So I'm super looking forward to this, and the fact that I know it's going to be fun for us, but I think it's going to be fun for everybody else that gets to watch.
I know I'm excited. It's always good when you guys get to come on What's Burning, get to share some of your insight, and now we're going to get that on a more regular basis. Where will people be able to find this podcast at?
We will actually have a web page for TNT, but you're going to be able to find it on the professor's website. You'll be able to find it on SRG Financial Advisors website.
And plug those for me, would you? Because I know that True History is big with podcasts and a lot of great content. So
TrueHistoryProfessor.com.
TrueHistoryProfessor.com. And then, of course, SRG Financial Advisors.
SRGFinancialadvisors.com, yes.
Perfect. You can go there, see all of the teasers and stuff. Guys, I'm so excited about this. And as this grows, we'll have you guys back on this show, back on Cup of Coffee. And I guarantee you can see some teasers on Lake TV throughout the day as well.
Well, we're going to want to drag you on the show with us sometime as
well.
I
would be honored. I don't want to scare away some of your viewers, but I would be excited to come on and learn from you guys.
Yeah, we'd love to have you as show and tell.
All right, well, I will look forward to it. Professor Jim Pasley, Bill LaCasse from SRG Financial Advisors. We'll be back on What's Burning right after this.